Hello, lovely humans. It's project time. See this super cute light behind me? So adorable. I love it. But because it's wall mount, it came with just two bare wires sticking out that, I would expect that most people put into the wall and wire it in. I am not going to cut a hole in my wall. Absolutely not. So my really quick solution was to solder on this super ugly, kind of garish extension cable. And to turn it on, I have to plug it in and unplug it, and I have to move my couch. And it's really annoying. So I actually have two of these, and I did a practice run for the first time. And what we are going to do, and I will show you how to do this, because it's surprisingly straightforward and a skill that you can add to your bag of tricks. So we are going to add a switch to this little cute little lamp, and we are going to attach an adorable green extension cable. Solve all the problems. It's going to be functional and pretty. Are you ready? Here we go. All right, we are in the messy project space to drill the hole for the switch. And first, the most important thing is eye protection. Yay, eye protection. And for y'all folks with long hair, anytime there is spinning stuff, you put your hair back. Don't want to get your hair cut. I've got my hair cut in a gree before, which is a belay device. It is not fun. We're going to be safe. Eye protection, hair back, and any loose clothing out of the way. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to make a little indent where I want to drill the hole. So there's legit tools to do this, but I have this large eye ring with a pointy bit at the end and a hammer, and so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I might need to scoot back. Do. And I'm not exactly a perfectionist, so I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. That seems good. Nope, a little higher. Okay. Oh. Do another one for good measure. Trying to get it a little deeper. Alright. Oh, my goggles are fucking up. Alright, that seems good. And now we grab our drill. So fun. So you want to make sure it is tight with some clicky clicks. And then you just really give it a push. There we go. Okay. All right. And then we're going to increase the size. So because I already did one, I know I'm going to use the same switch, and I know the size switch to use. I'm going to stand up because that's going to be a little safer. Okay. There we go. Okay, and one more. We got a drill hole. Okay, so the hole is for the switch, and I am going to use my Dremel to get some of these sharp bits off. Actually, it's not too bad. Yeah, that's not too bad. Maybe it's okay. But that's not the most fun part, so we will skip that, and I'll see you on the other side when we do some soldering. Huzzah! Oh, I guess I could show you a close-up. That might be helpful. Okay, here we go. We have a hole. Whoop, there we go. Maybe be in view of the camera. Okay, we have our little hole here for our electrical switch. Yay! I'm so excited that I can turn the switch off without having to move my couch and plug in a wire. That's the goal. All right, we'll see you for the soldering part. Yay! All right, now we are in my electronics lab to solder the new pretty wire on. Okay, so this is the old cable. Boo, ugly, white, boo. Throw that on the ground. And here is the new, oh, it's so beautiful. Just look at that. It's gorgeous and green, and there's a sticker on it that has some information, but it's coming off, so I'm going to take that off. And yes, to be fair, there is the same basic white extension cable under that, but it's covered in fabric and it matches my wall and it makes me so happy. And I'm so excited because it's going to look so pretty. So yay, new exciting extension cable. And the other thing that I'm so stoked about is this lovely little switch. Hey, It took me forever to find the right switch from the Pi Hut, or just in general, because, oh, don't tell me this is too small. Oh no, is the hole too small? I might need to go fix the hole. But it took me forever to find this switch because this is an AC project, alternating current project. It is no joke. I do not normally mess with AC current because it's scary. It's the real deal. And whenever you are working with an electronics project, you need to make sure that any components that you are working with can handle the voltage and the current that is going to pass through those parts. So for this little switch, I had to make sure that it can handle 120 VAC, not DC, and also this lamp takes about 5 amps of current. That's a lot of wattage. That is a lot of power. So this little switch has to be able to handle that without burning out, because if it burns out, that's very bad. And the same thing with the wire. The wire also has to handle 120 VAC, or voltage for alternating current, and at least 5 amps. And I like to add a little buffer there, so I believe my switch is rated for 6, and this wire is definitely rated for way more than 5 amps. So we are all safe and good to go. And also, I was a little nervous with the first one, and so that's why I also wanted to make sure that my first one worked well before I taught y'all how to do that. So that's why it took me a really long time to find the right switch. We'll give you a close-up of this buddy. No, it's blurry. It's so blurry. Maybe I put it from my face. The camera will be like, oh yes, that part matters. So you can see it has three terminals, 3 connection points, and the key is that, well, I believe that, yeah, so this one can actually switch 2 different things, but I want one position to be off and one to be on, so I will use one of the outer pins and an inner pin. And then the other thing to keep in mind is that you always want to make sure that you wire a switch so that the hot side's connected to the switch. The hot side is the black side, and you want to make sure that the black side is connected to the switch. Okay, let's see if I can shove this switch through this hole. There we go. Okay. It's the talking that did the trick, definitely. Why do I feel like I'm missing a piece that was in here? Because I am. Oh, at least I thought I was. Where did it go? Where did it go? Well, we'll put the washer on. We'll put the washer on, maybe. Little finicky buddy. We might fast forward this part. There's an observer effect that happens where when you are trying to show folks how to do something, you always mess it up. Or you have these like really awkward, like, I did this fine the other day and now my fingers just can't seem to get this tiny little washer on this tiny little switch. But we got the washer on, and now I am putting the bolt on. And if I ever use the wrong name for something, just let me know, because I'm not super great at labels and memorizing words. My brain likes spatial reasoning and logic and math, and that seems to work pretty well. And pictures. But I struggle with words sometimes. Numbers, no problem, but words, Writing, I'm usually pretty good, but sometimes speaking, my brain goes blank. But that's okay. You just gotta figure out how your brain works and work with it, right? This is definitely not the right tool for the job, but you know what? It's the tool that I've got. So I am just tightening the nut. Yeah, I don't think it's a bolt. I think it's the bolt is the big piece. The nut is the thing that goes on it. So I don't want the switch to move around at all. So I'm using these little needle nose pliers. All right, there we go. Okay, so switch is mounted. Flippy, flippy, it's so satisfying. Ah, yay, okay. Oh, that's where the other part went. Oh. I should probably fix that. Well, I think it's fine. I'll just save it for later. In case it comes off, I'll fix it. Okay. Black wires go to switch. White wires go to each other. AC is also kind of funky because it's alternating. Okay, and so now this is the fun game of what side of this cable is the black one. I think it is the labeled side. So there's some markings. The other cable that I bought from this company, nope, that is really hard to see. Maybe I can tappy tap, tappy tap, tappy tap. Well, yeah, okay, kind of didn't work, but this one's got some writing. You can sort of see it. The other cable that I got had a black dot on it, and so I'm gonna assume that, yeah, because the other one's not marked at all, so that's probably the white. And this one with the writing is probably the black. And so very early on, we were going to put on eye protection. That is really the main thing with soldering. And then I guess I also might want to put my hair back because I don't really want to, sometimes when I lean over, my hair gets in the workspace. But, all right. So I learned from the other project that these are much thicker wires, and so it was quite difficult to attach it to the center terminal of my switch. So I am going to attach this to the outside. And I also think that this is where we are going to zoom in because it's going to be really hard for you to see. So you can watch over my shoulder instead of watching me do the thing. All right, are you ready? We're going to change camera view. All right, zoomed in view. Here we go. Cute little switch buddy. You can't see my cute face, but you can see the project, which is kind of the point. So I think that this will be fine. Also, this extension cable came with a wire coating on the outside, and I think that is not going to work at all for my project. So I think I'm gonna see if I can use my pliers. Whoopsies. Sorry, I knocked the camera a little bit, my bad. My camera work game needs some help. I'm good at the science and tech stuff and not so good at the videography, so thank you for bearing with me. But we're gonna just pull this right on off. Maybe. Maybe. Oh, that was a nice sound. Maybe. It's coming off. It's getting there. So close. Okay, so close. Actually, I'm just going to cut it off at this point. All right, so we're going to keep it over my project space so it doesn't go on the ground and I can throw it away later. There we go. All right, the wires are released. Oh, cute. You can see my cute little plants in the background. Okay, and then we are going to twist the wires to keep them together. And then I am going to push those through, hopefully. We're going to push them through the switch terminal. I might need a little more space with this wire, so I'll pull that apart. It's like threading a needle. Okay, well, that kind of works. So, there we go. And then I am going to turn my soldering iron on, get my solder out, and the Hako is amazing, and it heats up so quick. It goes from 0 to 700 degrees Fahrenheit in like 6 seconds. Is it 500? Oh, let's free this wire. Okay, so the first thing with soldering is that you always want the tip of your soldering iron to be nice and shiny. So you do this thing called tinning the tip, where you just dab some solder on it. And you see how you get this solder on the end, and then you just wipe it off. Okay, So when you solder, you heat the joint. So you want to kind of touch the terminal of the switch and the wire kind of simultaneously, and then you feed the solder into that joint so that it coats the both the switch. Oh, I need to free some solder. So it gets the switch terminal and the wires. Solder is primarily an electrical connection, so it is not considered to be a mechanical connection. And that's really, really important to keep in mind because you can test your solder joints by taking a gentle tug, but you don't want to really yank at it because it is not a mechanical connection. Okay, let's see here. So now I need to solder the lamp cable into the middle part of the switch. And this is gonna be a little tricky, so I'll do my best here. And I apologize if my fingers are kind of in the way. I'm doing my best. I'm trying to teach while also doing a project, and that's kind of tricky. So I can't see. It's a little switch. All right, there we go. We got it. Okay, so now the tricky part is that I don't want the black wire to touch the other wire at all. Okay, so I kind of fold it back. All right, so now I'll try to show you close up. So I got my black wire just kind of popped on in on the middle one, and I got my extension wire soldered onto this one. And that kind of looks like they're touching to me, so maybe I'll come in with my wire strippers and just kind of poke them away. Maybe. Okay, well, let's see how this goes. Maybe I will take a gander a little bit closer because I do not want to solder wow, wire plus solder equals sire. I do not want to solder them together or otherwise have them touching. All right, okay, I think that's good. And then we will solder the black wire on. So I like to I'm kind of obsessive about tinning the tip of the soldering iron, but it also means that it keeps your soldering iron nice and functional, free of gunk. Okay, so now I'm going to really try to avoid melting any plastic, and that's probably going to be really hard for you to see. It's a super awkward angle, so let me see if I can rotate, boop. Okay, and actually that's kind of better for me too. All right, so now I'm going to come in and I'm going to do the thing. Nope, that didn't work. I came in too hot. Melt, please. Melt, please. Oh, I think I melted some plastic. Oh, that stinks. Okay, I think that's probably okay. All right. Ah, gross. I probably should have turned my air purifier on. Okay, so that is stuck on to that ish. And now the last thing for me to do is to water. Wow, I'm really having a hard time with words today. Is to wire these two buddies together. And so for this, I'm just going to kind of gently twist them together and just solder that connection. So again, you heat the joint and then you apply the solder kind of where they're touching. Cool. Okay, I think that's good. Let me wipe off the excess solder before I turn my soldering iron off. The other key thing about soldering is you always want to make sure that you return the soldering iron to its holder. All right, I think that's good. Okay, so now here is the kicker. Ooh, oh, that's not a good sign. Okay, oh, that's a good sign. There we go. Okay, I think the solder might have still been drying or something. Okay, and then, you kind of want to fidget with these and make sure they're not touching. Sick. Okay, I think that's good. I think we can go install. Actually, the last step that I am going to do is I'm going to put some hot glue on this joint because, as I mentioned, solder is not. Hold on. Where are y'all? Solder is not. Solder is not. Say it with me. A mechanical connection. It's an electrical connection. Okay, we'll zoom out the camera. Oh, this cracks me up so much. Okay, solder, one more time, is not a mechanical connection. It is an electrical connection. Um, yes. Okay, so there we go. I'm trying to like both look at you in the camera and also make sure that I'm in view. Along with my lovely plants in the background. Okay, so we have successfully connected our switch. Clicky clicky. Oh, this makes me so happy. Clicky clicky. On, off. And then I'm going to use some hot glue to be a super lazy uh, mechanical connection, and also it's a fairly decent insulator. So if things are, it kind of helps prevent things from moving around. So I'm going to go do that, and then we'll put it back on the wall, and then we'll try it out. Yay! Here we are. Take a look at that beauty. Are you ready? Are you ready? On, off. Ah! Ah! I don't have to move my couch and plug in a cable. I can leave it plugged in and use this handy dandy switch to turn the light off as it should. And check out this gorgeous green cable. It matches my wall and it makes me so happy. Amazing. Big shout out to Becky Stern because she happened to be um, redoing a vintage lamp, and she posted the site where you can buy these beautiful cables. And of course, I don't remember right now, but if you ask, I will go and dig it up because I was so excited and I bought a bunch of stuff from them because it's really pretty. And you know what? Functionality matters. Wait. Oh, it's awkward angle. But so does aesthetics, okay? These pretty lights are gonna have a pretty cable to go with them. Okay, that was a whole big thing. I hope that you enjoyed your time hanging out with me while I did a little house project, and I hope that you learned something. Being able to use a drill for doing things like mounting, well, wall-mounted lights or putting things on your walls, and also being able to drill holes in stuff for switches, and soldering, two very, very, very useful skills to do lots of things in this world. And so I highly encourage y'all to, get your hands on a $30 soldering iron. I got one from Radio Shack, RIP, many years ago, and it has lasted me for 15 years, which is wild. If you tin the tip and take care of it, it will be your faithful friend for many years to come. And you will not always need it, but when you do need it, so useful! When those charging cables for your iPhone break, you don't have to go buy another one. You can just resolder it together. There you go. Saved you 80 bucks. Okay. All right. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me, my dear friend, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.